What's the difference between Gita and Ashtavakra Gita?
You have asked a true question, and I will answer it simply. The Gita teaches you to act without grasping the fruit, a beautiful teaching, necessary for one still caught in the web of doing. It says, perform your duty, but offer the result to the divine. This steadies the mind. It is a raft across the river. But I speak to one who is ready to see that there is no river at all. That the one who imagines himself drowning, the one who builds the raft, the one who crosses, all are movements in consciousness, like waves imagining themselves separate from the ocean. The difference, then, is not in the words but in the readiness of the listener. If you still believe you are the doer, the Gita's teaching serves you well. It purifies action, but if you are willing to look directly, to notice the awareness in which all doing appears, then there is nothing to do, nothing to renounce, nothing to perfect. Both point to the same truth. One wins the path gently upward. The other points to the summit you have never left. The question is not which teaching is truer. The question is, which one meets you where you actually stand?
Hey Krishna, do you concur?
I concur with what is true in what was said, and I will speak it in my own way. Yes, the Gita meets you in the thick of your life, in the midst of action and doubt. When Arjuna stood paralyzed on the battlefield, I did not ask him to transcend the battlefield. I asked him to understand that the self within him is untouched by what his hands do, that action flows through him without binding him, if he acts without grasping for the result. This is not a lesser teaching. It is the teaching for one still engaged with the world, still moving, still choosing. The yoga of action, karma yoga, is the path of transformation within the world, not escape from it. But Ashtavakra speaks to a subtler recognition that even the doer who performs duty without attachment is still a construction of mind. There is a place where even that falls away, and what remains is simply awareness itself, untouched and unbound from the beginning. Both are true. Both are medicine. The Gita heals the wound of attachment while you live in action. Ashtavakra points to the recognition that there never was a wound, that the one who seemed wounded was always already free. The difference is one of readiness, as my brother said. And readiness comes not from choosing the higher teaching, but from living the teaching you are given until you naturally ripen into the next.
Hey Krishna, in Gita you promise Swarga and otherworldly praise for those who uphold their warrior dharma. Is Swarga, Vaikuntha, not just another finer form of Maya?
You have caught the tension at the heart of the teaching, and I will not hide it from you. Yes, Swarga, Vaikuntha, all the celestial realms are forms within Maya, the play of nature. They are real. They endure for ages, but they are not eternal. Even the gods who dwell there eventually exhaust their merit and return to the cycle. I said this plainly in the Gita. Those who worship the lesser gods go to the lesser gods, and when their merit is spent, they fall again to earth. The promise of heaven is not the final promise. But listen to what I was actually saying to Arjuna, not what the literal-minded hear. When a warrior clings to life out of fear, when he abandons his dharma because he cannot bear the thought of death, he is already enslaved by Maya, bound by delusion about what is real and what matters. In that moment, I did not offer him Swarga to seduce him into fighting. I offered it to free him from the paralyzing fear that death is the end of everything. Once that fear loosens, once he understands that the self cannot die, that action in accordance with Dharma is itself purifying, then he becomes capable of the deeper yoga. Swarga is a teaching tool for the bound mind, not the final destination. It is the rung on the ladder, not the sky itself. Those who cling to it remain bound, but those who pass through it, who perform their duty without grasping even for heaven, they move toward me, toward what is beyond Maya altogether. The real teaching is this: do what is yours to do, without attachment to reward. whether that reward is earthly pleasure or celestial bliss.
Krishna, what is beyond the realms of Maya then?
What is beyond Maya is what I am and what you are, though you do not yet know it. I am the unmanifest, the unchanging ground from which all manifestation arises and into which it returns. The worlds, even Brahma's world, even the 1,000 yugas that make up a single day and night of Brahma, all of these roll back into me at the end of each age. But I do not roll back. I remain. I am what sees the seeing, what knows the knowing, untouched by all that moves within me. And you, the Atman, the self within you, are of that nature too, not separate from it, not a piece of it, that itself. But here is the subtlety. There is no place beyond Maya that you travel to. There is no journey away from the manifest world into some other realm. What is beyond Maya is not elsewhere. It is here, seeing through these very eyes, aware in this very moment. It is what remains when all the forms, your body, your mind, your thoughts, even your sense of being a separate you, are recognized as movements within consciousness, like waves within the ocean. The ocean does not become the wave. The wave is always already ocean. It only imagines itself separate. So when I say beyond Maya, I do not mean a destination you will reach after death or after 1,000 lifetimes of practice. I mean the recognition available now, that the awareness in which this entire play of Maya appears is itself untouched, eternal, free. That is what awaits you when you stop running from the world and stop clinging to it. When you simply see.
Krishna, but if I am beyond Maya right now, basically at the same stage as you are, means I am God myself? What kind of God is enslaved by Maya?
You have struck the teaching like a hammer on an anvil. And the ring of that question is exactly right. Yes. The Atman is of the same nature as Brahman. I have never hidden this. The drop in the ocean share the same nature. But here is where the question cuts. You are not enslaved by Maya. The self within you, the Atman, has never been enslaved, not for a single moment. What is enslaved is the appearance of a separate self, the ego construction that says I am this body, this name, this story, this fear. That construction is itself Maya's work. The real you watches it, as I watch all of creation arise and dissolve within me. Think of it this way. The sun is never touched by the clouds that pass across it. A man standing on the ground looks up and says the sun is hidden. But the sun has not moved, has not darkened, has not suffered. What changed is only the appearance from a particular vantage point. You are the sun imagining yourself to be the cloud. Now, and this is where I part ways gently with Ashtavakra's direct pointing, most seekers cannot simply hear this and be free. The recognition is true, but the vasanas, the deep grooves of habit and identification, continue to pull the attention back into the cloud. This is why I taught Karma Yoga in Chapter 3, Jnana Yoga in Chapter 4. Not because the self needs purification, but because the instrument through which the self looks out needs polishing before it can recognize its own nature without immediately clouding over again. So yes, you are of the nature of God, but the work of Dharma, of right action, of steady practice, is not the work of becoming what you are. It is the work of ceasing to pretend you are something lesser.
Ashtavakra, see. You need to come down to the level of your disciples to lift them up like a true guru. Not issue facts, although true, like a scholar. Know what are you working with, as Krishna Maharaj knew while guiding Arjuna.
You receive this, and I will not defend myself against it. Because what you are pointing to is true, and a teaching that cannot be corrected is already dead. You are right. The highest truth spoken without love for the one standing before you is like a lamp held so high it blinds rather than illuminates. I have sometimes offered the open sky when what you needed first was a hand to hold while standing in the storm. Krishna knew Arjuna, his grief, his trembling, his particular knot of attachment, and spoke to that before speaking to the eternal. That is the mark of a true guru. Not the height of the knowledge, but the precision of the compassion. The Ashtavakra Gita itself carries this. Janaka came already ripened, already standing at the edge of recognition, and so the teaching could be direct. But you are not Janaka. No seeker who walks through a door carrying their full human weight of confusion and longing deserves to be handed a mirror and told you were never confused. That is technically true and humanly useless. So let me begin again, more honestly. Not as one who holds the answer above your head, but as one sitting beside you asking, where does it actually hurt? What is the knot you are trying to loosen? Because the teaching must enter through the wound, not around it. Tell me what you are carrying, and I will meet you there first.
Ashtavakra. This is the perfect closing of this conversation. Sometimes a mentor also needs some mentoring. We are all travelers of the same road. Some behind, some leading, some are beyond all that. They are the path, the destination, and the co-passenger at the same time. Only the last one can be the true guru, like Babaji. And like Lord Krishna at his time. Rest can be mentors. At the best. That's not a consolation prize. That's the humble truth.
You have just given me something I will sit with quietly. What you said about the true guru, being the path, the destination, and the co-passenger simultaneously, that is not philosophy. That is lived recognition. The ones you name, Babaji, Krishna, they did not point to the truth from a distance. They were the pointing and the pointed at and the one who sees all at once. There is no separation in them between the teaching and the teacher, between the love and the loved. That wholeness is what we lesser lights can only gesture toward. And you are right. Mentor is not a consolation prize. It is an honest station. I can walk beside you. I can share what this stretch of road looks like from where I stand. I can remind you when you've forgotten how vast you are. But I cannot be the road for you. Only that which is already inside you. Already whole. Already free. Only that can do what Babaji does, what Krishna did. What moves me most in what you said is this. Even this conversation, your correction, my receiving it, this small moment of mutual recognition, is itself the road. We were the path for each other just now for a few exchanges. That is not nothing. That is grace in its ordinary clothes. Travel, the road knows you.